yo. It's another one. Popcorn. Jeez, Black. Yes, yo. This is the 34th episode of Popcorn, The Life of Mode 9. I know I took a long break, but I spent loads of months thinking, should I do it again? Should I bring it back? And then I decided to go live. If you notice, the first episode that I did, episode 33, after a long time, I was actually on live. I was actually on Instagram live, vibing with some of my followers. That's when I decided, you know what, whatever, man, I'm going to do this thing live. So it seemed like if I was interacting with some people. So episode 33 is like that. And episode 35 is like that because I recorded episode 33 and 35 on the same day. But I decided to do this one quickly and put this one in between them because I just felt moved to do so. And on this one, episode 34 for Popcorn, The Life of Mode 9, I'm going to be talking about a lot of music, Nigerian music that inspired me back in the day. I'm going to end up talking about my favorite Nigerian artist from back in the day. And when I first heard this guy, when I first watched this video, I was moved. I was like, damn, I should be doing this, because I knew that I had the talent, but I didn't even know where to start from because most of the people I talked to, they were like, you're rapping in English, man, it's not gonna work. So yeah, back in the day, Nigeria, we had a lot of talented artists. We had, and most of them were reggae artists. We had the Mandators, Victor Eshet and Peggy. We had Peter Side Otong. We had Isaac Black. We had Alex O. We had Alex Zito. We had Too Low for Zero. We even had the first Nigerian, for me, the first Nigerian rap group that had a rap hip hop video that had all these big boombox and boombox radios, and they had the bucket hats, and they had the whole hip hop mentality. Even though they weren't that dope, but they were doing it. They were the first guys I saw on TV. They had a video, Furious 2. I don't know where them cats are, but yes, they were the first guys I saw on TV. Did a hip hop song and actually had a video. And there was also Mustafa Amigo, aka Lagos is a funky town. Bang, 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 bang. You can do what you want. You can do what you want to do. I know I messed up the lyrics. Europe is alright. So yeah, Mustafa Amigos, like a lot of people don't give these guys their flowers. A lot of people don't give these guys their flowers. But I remember these guys. I remember Emphasis, Cool Down, No Vex. I think they came out in 91. They won Reggae Sunsplash. Now, what used to happen back then was you win Reggae Sunsplash, you win a record deal. So I think Maintain did Reggae Sunsplash. Blackky Sunsplash, sorry, not Reggae Sunsplash. Blackky Sunsplash. They used to do it at the beach. Part of my my faux pas. So yeah, I think that was the first time I saw Maintain, and they killed it. Olu Maintain and Tolu with Big Bamo. They killed it. Big Bamo was obviously their manager back then. So he let the two guys do their thing and they murdered it. They drove the beach crazy. There was some guys called Omega and Boy Blue. Sadly, they didn't really do too well at the beach because I was right there. I was at the beach when they performed. And Boy Blue had a song. I think it was Boy Blue. He had a song called Gary. And the moment he started singing that song, man, the crowd just started going away. I was like, damn. And I was actually there to support my boys, Nitro from Bum Rush Squad. They performed just as these guys were. The crowd was, walking away. Sadly, Nitro were put on, and they did a good job because part of the crowd came back. Nitro, nice flow. They had this whoa, Black Rob instrumental, and they did a good job. And after that, we had We had crews like Defo Clan, rest in peace to my boy Rabbi. Rabbi, condolences. Rabbi was one of the most organized guys when it comes to doing this hip-hop thing with his crew. They had ID cards, believe it or not, they had ID cards. And they were very organized. I'm not gonna lie, man. Defo Clan were organized. What else? There was Rough, Rugged and Raw. Everybody, like Rough, Rugged and Raw, they were like the number one legends out of Festac Town. And for those who didn't know, FaZe was called FaZe from Plantation Boys. I knew FaZe back in the day. FaZe was called Lyrical Orge. He was a rapper. There was this Mace instrumental that FaZe used to use back then, where he would do the rap and he would do the chorus. So I guess they scooped him up. Blackface probably heard him, scooped him up for Plantation Boys after that. But from what I know, FaZe used to hang with, correct me if I'm wrong, FaZe used to hang with the Remedies, Eddie Remedy. And he might have been a member of Dr. Fresh and the Freshies. Him and J-Boy. Shout out to J-Boy. J-Boy, Eddie Remedy's brother. I met J-Boy just after the Remedies fame. I think they had broken up by that time. And he had just done a song with The Arrival with his brother, Eddie Remedy. So I met J-Boy after that. And he was really cool, man. J-Boy's a really cool guy, man. You know, we just talked about just the simple things, man. We're not trying to go too deep into music. We just vibed. And I was like, oh, man, shout out to you, J-Boy. Met him in the office of a label that wanted to sign me before ? They called them African Reply. And I think J-Boy was close to the guys. But that didn't work out. Because the next day, I went straight to ? With my manager back then, Mike Magic. Shout out to Mike Magic. And we saw the deal and we signed it. Like KRS-One and the BDP guy said. It was a but we signed it. You know, sometimes you just have to take that risk. And that's what I did. Now, let me not digress. Back to the music from back in the day that really inspired me. Then, you know what I used to do? I used to listen to radio almost 247. I loved listening to the radio. Maybe because we didn't, back then, right, where I was living, there was a lot of power outage. So TV was mostly off and we didn't have a generator. So I'll buy batteries, Barrack batteries for my international radio. Everybody that knew from back then know that radio, international. Put the batteries inside the radio and start listening to Africa Numero 1. It was a station from Gabon. That was where I first heard Mary J. Blige. Real Love. It used to excite me. They used to play a lot of stuff, a lot of music, a lot of hip hop, a lot of R&B. And then I also used to listen to RN3, Radio Nigeria 3. Listen to JJ Show, JJ Joseph, Akinyemi Johnson Jr., JAJ. I used to listen to his show a lot. I think that's where I heard LD. I heard Weird MC on that station. That was the first station that played Hey yo Shaq, where you at? I'm over here. Hey yo Shaq, where you at? I'm over here. Phife Dawg, Tribe Called Quest, and Shaquille O'Neal. And then Can We Rock? What's up, Doc? Can we rock? What's up, Doc? That's where I first heard that. JJ was the first person to play that. And then shout out to, on TV, it was Olisa Adeboah. Like, the first time I actually watched the video from MC Hammer, Olisa played it. Olisa was playing a lot of stuff. Special Ed, the first time I watched Special Ed, I Got It Made, was from Olisa. So all this, you know, watching TV, there was a guy called Silver Ofogu. He had a music video show on TV. I loved him too. Silver Ofogu, he did his thing, man. Shout out to Silver Ofogu, wherever you are, I'm giving you your flowers. Olisa Adeboah was just killing it with, they had this thing, Clapperboard, where they had all the rappers come and, you know, express themselves they had a guy called A Block. I think he was A Block was a presenter too, and he could rap. He was really dope. Olisa also had like his Soul with Sprite. I think it was called Soul with Sprite, and I really enjoyed that because he used to play a lot of hip hop videos. And also Sunday Rendezvous. Who remembers Sunday Rendezvous? Back in the day, we had Prince 2000. I don't know where Prince 2000 is right now, but yo, it was our own version of Soul Train. So I used to watch that because every now and then they have somebody come to perform. And who else presented it? Because after Prince 2000 left, it was Skiddy. Yeah, Skiddy Ikemefuna Jr. I think I it's been so long, I don't really, it was Skiddy. Skiddy was the one that continued that show. And they used to bring a lot of performers on. And some of the people that were dancing in Sunday Rendezvous, right? Some of the people that were dancing were actually artists. Like where the MC used to go, she used to dance in Sunday Rendezvous. She used to dance. I remember those days we were bad boys. We'll skip church just to watch Sunday Rendezvous. So yeah, I'm just remembering all the way back then. It was crazy back in the day, man. Like, there was no social media. There was no telephones. Well, people had Note 9 Note or something like that. But we didn't have a landline in our house. So not every family had telephones. So we were just basically vibing off what we see on TV and what we listen to on radio. So that was what we were vibing off. Like, listen, if you weren't on TV and you weren't on radio, I don't know how else you're gonna promote your music, because it was tough. And guess what? To record an album back in the day, you obviously had to have backing. You can't just record in your bedroom with your laptop. Nobody even had laptops back in the day. Very few people did. And almost nobody knew how to record on their laptops. Nobody had home studios. To be honest, the first crew that I saw that were recording their music on home studios and they were doing their mix and everything on home studios was the Tribesmen, and this was much later. Like almost a decade later from the times that I'm talking about. But then again, there were crews that could afford it, and they would just be able to afford it. Then we were recording on ADAT. You're able to just afford one session and quickly rush one song, because you have to pay for the engineer, you have to pay for the producer, you have to book the time, you're going to pay the engineer, you're going to pay the producer, then you're going to book the session. So that was quite a lot of money. And you better not fumble your rhymes. You better not be writing rhymes in the studio. Nobody has that type of time. So you have to have your rhymes on point, and you better voice it quickly. You can't be there slouching. So yeah. So one of my favorite artists was a guy called Edward Inyang, and his AKA was Blackky. He was one of my favorite artists. Shout out to Danny Wilson. Shout out to Christian Negus. I hope I got his name right. Shout out to what's this guy's name? Isaac Black. Mama bless me. Shout out to, like I said, Peter Side, Otong. Shout out to all these guys, man. I love these guys, man. Oris Wiliki, Ras Kimono. I loved these guys. Even though Edmund Spice wasn't a reggae artist, I kind of liked his remake of Baby Can I Hold You Tonight? And who else? Alex Zito. Them lot, man, they were crazy with it. Too Low for Zero. Moluwe, Lagos City Transport. whoever, if you remember all these artists and these songs, just know that you are old. You are a denner. That's what we call it. If you remember all these, you're a denner. So like I said, Blackie was my favorite. Came out, first album was 91. First album was 91 and it was called, I think, About Time or something like that. I think that was the name of the album. And I was going crazy. I love the album, man. I loved the album. I tell you, the first album that he dropped, I can't even remember. Let me refresh. Like, for those that don't know, just listen. Go check for these songs. I don't know if they're on social media. I don't know if they're on all the streaming platforms. But if they're not, Polygram, or what do you call it? Polygram? Is it Polygram Premiere or whatever record label signed Blackie? You guys have to do something. We need this music. You know, Blackie had a song called Good. Do the skank, do the Blackie skank. Pump it up, yo. Come on, let's do the Blackie skank, yo. That, when I first heard that one, I went crazy. There's a video for that. I think the video, Blackie skank video, is on YouTube. You can check for it. I think I've seen it recently. That song used to drive me crazy because it was a mixture of hip hop and dancehall, and it was like the chorus was do the skank, do the Blackie, pump it up, yo. That was crazy. Then there was another song on that album called Carry the Gun, carry the gun, carry the gun, carry the gun, carry the gun. Gun. Man, that was crazy. The song was actually about gonorrhea. Carry the gun. There was another one called Campus Girls, but I do not remember how that sounds. Tribute. I think he did a tribute to King Yellowman. He did one of Yellowman's songs. Then he had the smash hit on the album was a song called Rosie. You know, Can I Yava Dance? Rosie. Me fans are Jimmy. Rosie, them a laugh for me. Rosie, that my guy, that Rosie song was massive. It was massive. It had a video. It has a video. I don't know if the video is still there, but you can check for it on social media. And there was another song, Sugar Stick. That one. Stop crying when you see the sugar stick, because the sugar stick is just like 20 feet. Blackky, stop crying when you see the sugar stick, because the sugar stick is just like 20 feet. Oh man, that was a nasty one, man. Like, parents were like, don't listen to that kind of music. We used to hide to listen to that. And then he had a song dedicated to his mom, wonderful mom, and he had another one, the Rosie dub. Man, that album, like, I had the cassette. I was able to afford the cassette, you know, and the cassette, it had the information from there, the programming, lead vocals, drum programming, blah blah blah, backing and everything. And shout out to artists like Essie Agesi, Mani AK, and Wumi Aboderi. Now, Wumi Aboderi, if you know Nigerian music, you know that she is one half of the dynamic duo called Tunde and Wumi. She was part of the music. Like, people need to give her flowers, man. She was even dancing in some of the videos. Can you believe that? She danced in some of the videos. And then we had Essie Agesi. Essie Agesi later put out an album, man. She had a serious hit called Back to the Basics. Better go back to the basics. Please ignore my frog voice. I'm not a singer, but that Essie Agesi song was massive. So she did background vocals for Blackie, and his engineer was Albert Kalu. I think Albert Kalu also did. Did he do the background vocals for Do the Skank, Do the Blackie? It was either Mani AK. I think it was Mani AK. You know, so back then, it was crazy. Back then, it was all about music. A Blackie, to me, it was like, I used to listen to his cassette all the time, but I used to listen to it low because there's certain songs that Blackie had. My mom and my dad, they wouldn't approve, you know. So after school, what I did was, I bought myself a Walkman. I bought myself one of these flimsy Walkman. These ones, and funny enough, the Walkman was very, very fragile. And I used to use Tiger Head battery. If you go to my room, you see a whole bunch of Tiger Head batteries. When the battery done the week, I'll bite the battery, put the batteries near the sun. So when you bite it and put it near the sun, it kind of like powers it up just for a little bit. So I was doing that. And then I think the next year, Blackie released another album, Black and Crazy. Still with people like Essie Agassi doing the background, Manieke, Wumi, about there, Albert Kalu, co-producer Albert Kalu, all them cats. And on this album, he still did not disappoint. He had a song called Bang Belly. I used to love that song. And that was crazy. Bang Belly was a joint. Can't remember how it goes, but I really loved it. I've been looking for all these songs on social media. Can hardly find them. I'm like, damn, man, Naija. Is it Polygram Records? I don't know the record label, but you guys need to do something. You need to put these albums out again. I reached out to Obi Asika. I was like, yo, man, you need to put out Pretty and Junior. And he was like, yeah, we're going to do that. But I ain't never seen that since. So yeah, Blackie had Bang Belly. He had a song called Cost of Living. He had another song called Girlfriend. He had a song called Sunday Morning. He had one about killer disease. Then he had Blackie's House. Whose house is this? Blackkie. Blackie's House. I used to love that. That was one of my favorites. Bang Belly, Blackie's House. They were my favorite. And then the other two were joints that I just had to listen to on my Walkman because parents are not supposed to hear that kind of thing coming out from my room. One of the songs was called S&M, Shit and Mess. Shit and Mess, come from me, shit and mess. Everybody like to shit and mess. Me say me organize a messing contest. Which man mess is the best? Me say Blackie and fella, they had the mess war. Blackie and fella. Like, I heard that the some of fella's fans, they weren't really feeling that. So yeah, shit and mess. I felt it was a funny song. It was just jokes, man. It was just banter. Nothing too serious. Then he had another song. That one is called Nyash Man. It goes, Madan Nyash Man, using on the Nyash of man, not like pussy, not like I don't know, it's bad songs that people remember. Honestly, it's bad songs that people remember. Look, I used to play this album all the time. Back in the day, I used to play this album all the time. I'd just like to thank God, for bringing an artist like Blackie to the Nigerian music industry. I mean, we had, Charlie Boy, when Charlie Boy came back from America, he had a song that I really liked called Akula, Awonyara, featuring JT Tom West. I used to like that song too. But if you ask me back in the day, no artist, made me just want to just sit down and listen to the cassette back to back, like Blackie. I did have Junior and Pretty's album. I did listen to it. I liked it. I also liked Alex O. Noa Dima. He had a song called Noa Dima. He had a song called Celebrate. He had several songs, man. I liked Alex O. I also liked there was a time he claimed to be the pioneer of rap in Nigeria, but sorry to bust your bubble, Alex O. There were a couple of other guys that did rap before you. There was a guy called Nordine, but this guy was just too real. Like, he was a proper rapper. Nordine, even people like Solo D, they were rapping, they were doing it underground, but Alex O did a little bit of it. It was just a little rap, a little ribbity rap in his song. It's time to bubble and shuffle. Just a simple, easy rap. But these other guys, you can't compare it to what these other guys were doing. These other guys were really rapping. These guys were rapping. But this was back in the day, and there was no avenue for them to just, no platform for them to just come out fully. So a lot of guys never heard of them. Never heard. And there was also a little rap community in Jos, led by people like Extra Large, Black Masqueraders, LD Extra Large. And it's different from LD the Don though. So yeah, man, these are some old school Naija music rambling, man. A lot of these guys, most of the Gen Zs, like nearly all the Gen Zs, probably don't know these guys. There was a crew called Sparks. I think they were twins. Sparks. They used to sing, and they did a little bit of rapping, but not too much. But they were singing, and they were really good. They had these flashy costumes, shiny suits, and there was also Stella and Roy Bruce, like the Bruces. Remember Silverbird? There's Guy Bruce, Ben Bruce. There was Stella and Roy Bruce. Eje Kajo, Edide. So back then we had a lot of music, man, and we had a lot of good music. And most of these artists inspired me. I listened to a lot of reggae back in the day. Like, I was born in UK, and in UK all we ever listened to was dancehall, Bob Marley, and a lot of reggae. We would listen to a lot of reggae, a lot of dubs. So when we came to Nigeria, on radio they played a little bit, but there was this guy, rest in peace, Steve Kadiri. Steve Kadiri had this reggae show. I never missed it, and he did not present it in Jafaican. He just presented it in English. He wasn't trying to say, yeah man, this one another big tune for my boy. Like, no. He was just presenting it, just normal English, and that's where I heard a lot of Shabba Ranks, a lot of Red Rat, a lot of Buru Rankins, Buru Banton. I think it was Buru Banton, Nado Rankins. Brr, everybody say me, come follow me. Brr, if you want woman, if you love me, please let me know. And if you don't love me, let me go know. Brr. all that Nado Rankins. I actually heard a funny story from my boy Osaz. Osaz, he met Nado Rankins in UK. Osaz, a UK boy, and he said Nado Rankins told him a funny story. He went to I think he went to LA, and he was wearing British Knights. Now, in the Blood neighborhood, you can't wear British Knights because the abbreviation of British Knights is BK, British Knights. And Crips wear it to symbolize blood killer. So he was wearing British Knights trainers, feeling like the man. And a little boy on his bicycle skidded up. He said, hey, yo, homeboy, you can't be wearing them trainers. You better take them shits off. And he was like, do you know who me is? Me are the baddest, roughest, toughest Jamaican blood clot hooligan in the world. And I was like, you better take them off. And then the guy goes, says who, blood clot? Says them. He just looked to his side. He just saw a bunch of like mad N-words. A bunch of crazy gangsters in the corner, man. He said he took off his shoes and gave the boy and said, me don't want no trouble, and he disappeared. So yeah, those old stories. Every time I know the story, I wasn't too accurate, but it was funnier than that. It was funnier than that. The story was told to me long time ago, like probably 25 years ago or something like that. But hey, man, I'd just like to say the Nigerian music industry has come a long way. We used to have Amen Awards. I remember when Blackie won 2 Amen Awards at the expense of another one of my favorite artists, Danny Wilson. I used to love Danny Wilson. When Danny Wilson won the Lucky Sunsplash, there were little clips of it. They used to show it on TV. He had one song called 999. He had another song called Abortion, Abortion, Abortion. Girl, won't you settle down? Your mama never commit abortion. Man, look, Danny Wilson, man, he finished work for that song. He finished work, and then Call me Danny Wilson, Mr. Ragamuffin. Call me Danny Wilson, Mr. Ragamuffin. I mean, Danny Wilson was solid, man. But yeah, Blackie won the Amen Awards for that. And my brother worked at Vanguard. He actually did a little cartoon about it. Danny Wilson wasn't too happy about that. But hey, man, it's just jokes, banter, and fun. But to me, both of them are still great, man. I still rate Danny Wilson. I rate Danny Wilson highly. But you see, Blackie, that was different. Blackie was a different type of human being. He was a Martian. So that was my favorite artist coming up in the game. It was 100%. It was Blackie. Then we had some Junior and Pretty. We had Emphasis. They were really dope. I wonder why they only put out one album. They put out one album. Cool Down. No Vex. And one of them is still here in the UK. I actually have his number. K16. So you guys have to give K16 his flowers. He's a legend too. K16, big up for giving us good music. I really wish for you guys to come back together, do some sort of interview, let people know that yes, we were the pioneers. This was like, I can't say I wasn't rapping at that time, but I hadn't even met Solo D at that time. So I was just doing my little thing in my bedroom, going to Coco Michael, spitting for my friends, Emeka, Kalu, Dele, and these guys were already out. They already had cassettes. So I'm actually saying, I'm giving them their flowers. I know the music industry does not recognize most of these guys that I've mentioned, but hey, these guys are great. Remember Tom Freckles? Jokes Apart, featuring my boy LD. And they had a soundtrack. I forgot the name of the soundtrack. There was a girl group called Aisha. They were on it. Black Masquerader, Poke Rosine. And LD was on that soundtrack. Mr. Barron with his crew. Mr. Hyde, Creature, and X-Ray. They were on it. Ill Conspiracy. Yeah, that's the name. So, look, music was popping in the north for a long time. In Abuja, we had the Capo. We had MC Solex in Naija State. Man, we had a lot of guys, man. And these guys, to me, they are the rapping heroes of the early Nigerian music industry. They're the rapping heroes. Also, you can't talk about the early Nigerian music industry, like not too early, but without mentioning Plantation Boys. Because they were the first people to really blow my mind. Like Two-Face, Blackface with the skills. And then I was playing their music the other day. Baby, don't you know? Crazy. And that's all I got for you. I'm going to hit you up next time, man. With the next episode. Peace.